Have you ever wondered what it felt like to not know your own face? Today, you see your reflection dozens of times without thinking. In a phone screen, a window, a puddle. But for most of human history, that experience simply didn't exist. For hundreds of thousands of years, people lived and died without ever truly seeing themselves. So what did they do instead? The earliest humans had one option: water. Still ponds, calm rivers, the surface of a bowl left out overnight. Archaeologists believe early humans noticed their reflection almost by accident, bending down to drink and catching a rippling, distorted shape staring back. It wasn't clear. It wasn't stable. A breath of wind or the flick of a fish could shatter the image in an instant. That instability may have shaped something deeper than we realize. Some anthropologists argue that early self-recognition wasn't a single moment of clarity, but a slow, blurry negotiation with an unreliable image. Imagine only ever seeing yourself in fragments, never in full. So when did people try to fix that problem? The oldest known manufactured mirrors date back roughly 8,000 years, discovered in Çatalhöyük in what is now Turkey. They weren't glass, they were polished obsidian, volcanic glass, ground and buffed until it held a dim, smoky reflection. Owning one wasn't about vanity. It was rare, difficult to make, and often reserved for the powerful or the ritualistic. But most people never touched one. For the average ancient human, identity wasn't built by looking inward at a reflection. It was built by looking outward, at other people. Your sense of self came from how your tribe treated you, how your family reacted to your face, your expressions, your growth. Psychologists call this a socially constructed sense of identity, and some researchers believe it may have been far stronger in prehistoric societies than it is today, simply because there was no alternative. Think about what that means. A person could grow from infancy to old age, never once seeing their own aging skin, their own graying hair, their own scars. They knew themselves through touch, through the reactions of others, through the internal sense of being alive inside a body they could never fully observe.
It sounds almost impossible now, but it raises a strange question. Did that absence make people more connected to their communities because they had no choice but to rely on others to understand themselves? As centuries passed, reflective surfaces slowly improved. Polished bronze and copper appeared in Egypt and Mesopotamia, giving a warmer, slightly clearer image, though still dim and often distorted at the edges. These mirrors were expensive and largely limited to nobility. For the vast majority of people across the ancient world, a clean, accurate reflection remained something they might never experience in their entire lifetime. It wasn't until glass mirrors backed with silver became widespread, centuries later, that ordinary people could finally see themselves with real clarity. And that shift changed more than just convenience.
Some historians argue it quietly reshaped human psychology itself. Once people could study their own faces in detail, ideas about individual appearance, personal vanity, and self-image began to take on new weight. The self stopped being something felt only through others and became something visually confirmed, moment to moment, in a way it never had before. So the next time you glance at your reflection without a second thought, consider this. For nearly all of human history, that simple act was either impossible, rare, or reserved for the privileged few. Most of the people who ever lived walked through their entire existence never truly knowing what their own face looked like to the world. And in a strange way, maybe that absence is what made them look at each other so much more closely instead.